projects. Next up is Human Error Publishing, which I'm guilty of producing. Human Error Publishing is about a little over 20 years old. I have 80 plus authors with a bunch more authors coming on. Human Error Publishing started because of my own writings and traveling around the country doing festivals and not being published, yet people were coming up to me at these festivals asking for books. And so I decided, why wait for somebody else? I published my book and then I was selling them. And then I started meeting other authors at these festivals who couldn't get published. And I thought their work was great. And I started with just a couple thinking I was going to do it. And here I am, 80 authors later. I run a bunch of different events. And because of that, for word events, word stages, and word monthly readings. And so I get to meet a lot of authors who I think just have some great works, and many of them aren't sure about how to get their works out there. And so that's become sort of, I guess, my mission. I sort of feel that in order for us to have a democracy, or if we have a democracy, that people feel strong, have a voice, can express themselves in that voice. And so Human Error Publishing tries to do that with events and publishing. The publishing I have is there's anthologies, there's individual poets. It's worldwide. I have folks from Sweden and India and a variety of other places because I've met them. And I have people who've done art. They either have paintings with their poems or they took photos with their poems. And so I have four of those books that are out. Today, I'm just going to have one of my favorite authors. There's many of them, but Margaret is definitely up there. And so she has put two books with Human Error Publishing. So let's hear from Margaret now.
Thank you, Paul. First of all, it's a pleasure to be working with you on our projects. I'm calling in from Portland, Oregon, and I have two books with Paul that we've done together with Human Error Publishing. If There Is No Wind is the debut book that I did, and it was very well received. And people would say, one of the reviewers said, it was the result of deep and empathetic listening with an eye towards detail, often so minuscule and simple as to be overlooked. Such a lovely way to describe what I was trying to do. And the painting is actually done by Eliza Sarah Kopolner, who's my daughter. And it was really a joy to do that. So I'm going to read a couple of poems, the first one from this book, and it's called Invocation. It's kind of a meditation. My bulky blue heart hangs in my chest. I shudder, then shutter the windows, burrow beneath the knitted Afghan, my anguish bounded for now by these living room walls. Set me free. Let the birds carry my body above the salted sea. Invite me to soar, then dive like an osprey, looking for dinner, cutting the water, swimming in warmth, bathing my after image away. And the second book I did with Human Error is called Even the Dog Was Quiet, another painting by this time my husband. I have a lot of artists in the family. And we also did drawings inside, which really was fun to do with Human Error, to be able to combine, drawings and poetry. This book was received very well, and it was a finalist in the Islands International Book Contest, which was very exciting. So a couple of poems from here. The first one called Risk. I told the guy who answered the phone all those years ago we were 30 minutes outside Denver, needed a place to stay for the night, maybe longer. The rest area payphone was cleaner than the ones back east, no scent of urine, and the plastic booth wasn't scratched with someone's initials and lopsided hearts of misbegotten lovers. I wiped the mouthpiece with a tissue, even though it smelled like cleanser. I preferred the earthy odor of people's germs. The guy that answered the phone was a friend of a friend. I called him John. He said his name was Radar with a New York accent. John was his roommate. Yeah, he said, come by. You can sleep in the basement. I didn't mention the dog and hung up the phone. Katie and I stood by my '77 brown Chevette, deciding if we should do this or not. Two 20-year-olds driving for 24 hours, calling strangers from the road. Why were we here? Even the dog was quiet. That's where the title of the book comes from. And then the last one is a love poem. It's called Tableau. My friend tells me I should write about the future, but all I've got is when I look at you opening the burgundy curtain in the room with the freshly painted gray walls and how beautiful you are lighting up a space. The room with the sun creeping in was so dark a minute before. Thank you.